One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free. To let me be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart of steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides on two wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. A metal mayhem that will never die. With engines roaring, he paves his way. A legend in the making, day by day.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Man, do we have a big morning ahead of us. Great to see everyone in the chat, man. We got a lot to discuss, as you guys can probably tell. We got Trump escalates Iran, as well as the 11th night of strikes, and Rubio speaks. So we have all of that lined up for you guys. And also we have context to the strikes and what's happening. All right, so let's go ahead and quickly go over chronologically what we're going to be discussing this morning. First, we're going to be talking about Mike Johnson and the House GOP leaders deliver remarks. They did that yesterday as soon as we got off the show. So I still haven't watched it, mind you. So we're going to watch it together for the first time. And then after that, we have, this was breaking yesterday, obviously, after the show. Trump says U.S. will hit Iran 10 times harder after meeting with Lebanese president. And also some interesting developments came out of that meeting as well. But first, let's go ahead and talk about, as well as Hegseth gets interrupted by an anti-Iran war protester. Sounds like about the usual, by the way. That's kind of standard at this point. Then we have 15 hours ago, Trump lifts the 40-year ban on direct U.S. flights to Lebanon after meeting with the president. Now, that's a big deal. Oh, shit! It's actually a pretty big deal right there. I'm sure the Lebanese government is stoked with that. Let's see here, but I wouldn't be flying over there anytime soon. We got 13 hours ago, U.S. targets Iran aircraft hangars as well as drone storage sites on the 11th night of strikes. And then, of course, I broke down exactly what's going on with those strikes last night, so don't even worry about that. We've got that lined up for you guys. Then we have Marco Rubio speaks to reporters at the Ashan, I don't know if it's Ashan, whatever, summit. It's a summit that's going on over there that he, I guess he does speak to reporters. So we have that for you guys. And then just 1 hour ago, Trump vows to destroy bridges and power plants if Iran strikes. Yeah, I think we've already taken out 9 bridges in the Bandar Abbas region already. Then we have 32 minutes ago, President Trump speaks to reporters ahead of dignified transfer. Now, I'm not sure. It looks like that it says at Joint Base Andrews before departing to attend the dignified transfer of 4 U.S. service members killed in action during the ongoing conflict with Iran. All right, so that's what we're looking at this morning. Quickly, let's just do our call to actions, and then we'll get into the madness. Make sure you guys hit that like button as well as double tap that screen if you guys are on the vertical side, and hit that subscribe button. This is what we do Monday through Friday, and of course, we have members only on Saturday morning, man. It's a good time. Now, speaking of members, please consider becoming a member, starting only at $4.99 a month, making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody. But check it out. This is what allows us to be on these airwaves as well as have these lights on. So thank you guys for becoming members and staying members. Little side note here, follow my Instagram at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, breaking news, as well as politics, all that great shit. I actually just posted on the social medias as well regarding my political ambitions, with local government here in Alabama. But go check that out. And also, we have a Discord server for all of you legends as well. We break news, by the way, in there. We have a breaking news segment where I break minute by minute, like what's happening. For instance, like all military movements and stuff like that. Now, of course, do we break other news? Of course. That's what you guys see me doing on Insane Wheels. But we are minute by minute on the Discord. So make sure you guys join up on the Discord. Video description down below is where you're going to find the invite link. And last but not least, all super chats, super stickers, gifted memberships, and membership signups are, of course, all going to be presented live and shouted out onto the show. But if you guys like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned cash, we have these platforms that are scrolling around the screen at any time. You can donate to those, and I get 100% of the proceeds. And, of course, we'll read out loud anything that comes our way, just like a normal super chat. I've got my email up, and we're always going to be scanning. All right. Good morning to everybody, man. Let's see who we got in the building already. Let's see. We got coming in, we got Motobomb Virginia, by the way, and he rated us after the Coffee Crew. He has a show in the mornings, Tuesday through Thursday, and he and Carney Vanguard also rated us. I can't thank you guys enough for that. Let's see, we got Easy Frank in here. Good morning to you, kind sir. We got Mountain Woman. Yes, great to see you as well. We got Brother So Loud from the Boondocks, North Carolina. Yes. We got Naomi as well. Good morning to you. We got Vanguard Critters as well as Charlie Rose and Virginia Chaos, my man. We got Prez as well as AU. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us this morning. We got Brother Glare in here as well as OG Steve Easy. Good morning to you guys, man. We got Mina as well. Good morning. Let's see. We're running our way down. I promise as fast as humanly possible. We got Jamie Lindsay. Good morning to you. Great to see you in the chat, by the way. Let's see. We got Gary, my man. Good morning. Running our way down fast as possible. We got Fabian. Yes, sir. Always taking shits over here. We got Bill Castle as well. Good morning to you. All right, let's go ahead and pretty much get right into it. We got 2-4 up there as well. Appreciate you. All right, let's go ahead and get into the very first story. This happened yesterday, basically right after we got off the live stream. So this is Mike Johnson and the House GOP leaders deliver remarks. Let's go ahead and see what they got to say. We're only going to take the front half. Really, I'm not going to sit here and take a whole bunch of questions. If it's out of context, I'm just like, we have so many stories to get through this morning and a lot of information that's important. And sometimes, I'm just going to be honest, governmental officials don't always say important shit. So anyways, here we go.
But what I find very interesting is how the radical left feels they need to
what a way to start it.
hide what their policies are. They soften the language. They invent nicer labels. They call themselves democratic socialists, almost as though they're ashamed to tell the American people what they actually believe. I mean, they should say it loud. They should say it proud.
What's up, Rabbit of Chaos? Good morning to you. Sorry for skimming over you. I just see it right now. Appreciate it.
So let's call it what it is. It's communism. And I'm glad y'all are reporting on it. That is exactly what we need, because that is exactly who the left is. They don't need little nicknames like the Democratic Socialists of America and these acronyms.
I'm going to be honest. She's not necessarily wrong, but her voice definitely irks me.
Tell the American people what you believe in. Communism. And of course, communism arrives wearing a face. It never arrives wearing a face.
Oh, is that today, by the way? Steve Easy, he says, hopefully they don't pass the NDAA today. It's a pork-filled bill. Yes. And is it tied in, by the way? Is that whole thing tied into the Save America Act? Please let me know. I hope they kept that separate, but knowing them, they probably merged them.
Of who it really is, right? At first, it sounds compassionate. It promises fairness, security, a government powerful enough to solve every single problem and provide for every need. Then, little by little, the promises kind of go away. And what happens? Those promises go away and it gives government more control. A shopkeeper is told that his business no longer belongs to him. A farmer is ordered to surrender the land that his family has farmed for decades. A father,
what's up, brother KP? Good morning to you.
Actually stops talking freely at his own dinner table because he's afraid of what his children might say in school.
Interesting. I'm glad that they actually kept it on standalone rather than them trying to merge it into the Save America Act, because truthfully, I do want the Save America Act to pass, but if they were going to merge the U.S. and Israeli military intelligence and all that with that bill, I would have said automatically no. But yeah, anyways.
The next day. And eventually,
that's good.
Slowly, the country that promised everyone everything can no longer provide the basic needs. And just look at the images behind me.
Let's get
These
the likes
people
up.
are not waiting in line for a luxury item. They're standing in the bread line in the Soviet Union. Men and women bundled against the cold, parents waiting for hours, a line stretching down the street towards a store whose shelves...
Actually, you used the wrong there too. It's they are all sausage wallets, by the way.
May be eventually empty when they actually get there. Think about that for a second and just look at those images. Images reaching, imagine for 1 second, reaching the front of that line, finding nothing and returning home empty-handed to your family because you've now become dependent on the government, right? The radical left wants you to believe that communism has never really been tried. Well, it has. It's been tried again and again and again. And you know what? It's failed every single time.
What's up, Brother 13? Shout out to my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Whip 'em Out Wednesday so far. Definitely know the hell we are. Let's get it.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! Oh, shit!
Communism tries to make you dependent on the government.
What's up, Profac?
And let me share with you one adage that I teach my children. I don't want my children to be dependent. I don't want my children to be dependent on anybody. I don't want my children to be dependent on their spouse. I don't want my children to be dependent on me. And I sure don't want my children to be dependent on the government. And that's what communism does.
So wait, children should never rely on their parents? I mean, because believe it or not, you know, the way that the family unit works, it's actually very it's a lot of socialism, actually. You know, you don't have to do shit. You're taken care of. You got food. You know, I'm obviously talking about ages 1 to like 10. You know, before they start earning their keep, so to say, right?
It makes you dependent. And think about it, not because the wrong people are in charge, not because communism just needed just a little more time. It failed because communism itself doesn't work. It wants you to...
Yeah, you can always whip out a titty. What are you talking about?
Dependent. It takes ownership away from the people who produce and puts government officials in charge of deciding what will be made, how it will be made, and who will make it. You have no freedoms. You have no choice. You are now dependent solely on the government. And the government will tell you what to do, when
You be great, Bill Castle. We always appreciate
to do
you.
it, and how to do it.
Carney.
And scarcity is not some accidental side effect of the system. Scarcity is actually the result. The Soviet Union promised equality, then delivered breadlines.
Yeah, but those are titties mixed with tacos, you know?
It promised security, then built a society of surveillance and fear. It promised liberation, then trapped millions of people behind an iron curtain. That's where that road to communism leads. Yet the radical left is selling the same lie in America today. They've polished their branding, right? They've prettied it up. They've packaged it for social media.
What's up, my man, Jack Telcott? Hopefully you're enjoying the morning. Shout out to my man, by the way. Blessings to all that have gathered. That is an absolute fact. Always appreciate having you in the chat, hanging out with us. Let's go ahead and light up real quick. Because these idiots all make me, you know, we need left-handed tobacco, counterclockwise tobacco to get through anything. So
media marketed it to young Americans and college campuses all over the world. They've packaged it as compassion, and they've made...
What's up, Carrie? Good morning to you, by the way.
Promises that they can't keep. But a friendlier name does not change the ideology, and it certainly does not change the end game. This is no longer confined to the margins. Communism has taken root in our universities, our largest cities, and it has taken root in the Democratic Party. Every attack on private property, every demand for greater government control, and every lesson teaching young Americans to despise capitalism drives those roots deeper. That's why every single Democrat voted to raise your taxes. They want to take your hard-earned money.
What's up, Texas Gidget? Hopefully you're also enjoying the morning so far. Definitely know that we are. Good morning.
and make sure that that hard-earned money goes to help somebody else. Because somebody has to pay for everything that's free. Because last I checked, the farmers don't farm for free, the teachers don't teach for free, and grocery stores don't give away free food. Somebody actually has to pay for that. Just ask them who's paying.
Usually the government.
I'm going to tell you, it's the producers.
Government subsidies and a whole bunch of shit. What are you talking about?
Americans will never become a communist country. We can never let that happen. And who's standing in the way? House Republicans are ready to stand in the way. We will expose communism's record. It's not an abstract political debate, but a warning written across the faces of the people in this photograph. We need to—
By the way, Fabian, that clip that you're referring to right there in your comment is one of the best clips of all time, bro. I actually got to find it.
Remember history, because we do not want to repeat it. People who were promised everything by their government, left waiting in the cold, waiting for a loaf of bread. America must never become that country. But stopping communists requires more than trimming back its most radical proposals. We have to dig it out at its roots. And that's what we as Republicans will continue to do. Just look at the Democratic Party. They are divided right now. We are united. We believe in freedom.
Found it.
We believe in traditional American values. We believe in capitalism. And we believe in people. We believe people should, and will continue to control their own destiny, not the government. And we will dig it out by our roots. And the person who I want to introduce you to next is Nicole Malliotakis, who has—
Hold on. Before she goes into this any further, real quick, we got to get into some important things over here, bro. We got to get into very important, pressing things. Where is it? I just saw it. Here it is.
You ain't get me. I got you. Where the—
It's got a laser on him.
Oh, it's tired. It's like hot. Don't taste me. That shit just stings. My favorite is pineapple juice. You there?
Put your hands behind your back.
Pineapple
Palms
juice.
up. Put your hands behind your back, both hands.
It's warm.
Stay just like that. Cross your
For a
ankles.
quitter.
Ooh.
Cross your
We gonna
ankles.
take pictures?
Stay just like that. You
What's up,
understand me?
Ashton? Good morning.
Bring your ankles up to your butt.
Swap man, what's my safe word?
Bring your ankles up to your butt.
What's my
That's
safe
how far
word?
I go. You think I'm in Pilates?
Stay just like that.
I think I'm gonna have a heart attack. I'm out of breath. It was fun.
Just scaring him.
What you doing?
What are you doing?
Ooh, oh, that's cute.
Stay just like that. Stick this hand up just like that. Don't move it.
Word. Can I change it to peaches? No, let's take pineapple juice. I like
Pineapple juice.
Ooh. Oh, watch your hands, bud. That's my. Don't do that. That's my lighter. It don't work. Don't do drugs, kids. Those are my quarters. You want to put those in your pocket? That is change. You know how long it took me to acquire those? Some of those are limited edition. Well, that's my flash drive. Don't look at it unless you want to see Big D.
Big dick.
That's my wallet. You have no. Ooh. And watch your fingers, booty hole man. He's strong.
Epic. All right, that's enough of that. That's enough of that. We had to just get it out of the way. Embrace our fuck ups over here. That's what we do. Absolutely. Let's go ahead and actually just do that while we're here.
Beat yourself up over past mistakes. You are going to fuck up again in the future, quite possibly in a most spectacular fashion. Why worry about yesterday's fuck ups when you have tomorrow's fuck ups to look forward to? You are a fuck up, and fucking up is part of your growth process. Embrace the process.
We're embraced over here every day. Every day. Never changes. All right, let's go ahead and see. I want to see Mike Johnson speak. I really don't care about this broad that is about to come speak. I really could care less, going to be honest. I care less about all these guys, actually. Let's go ahead and get past the bullshit and see what Mike Johnson is going to go ahead and say up here as well, which is probably also going to be bullshit, but let's see.
Thank you, Mr. Leader, and good morning, everybody. We have a lot on our plate this week. It's going to be a very important week for the country and for House Republicans.
Hell yeah. Happy birthday, Ashton. That's awesome, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Whip 'em Out Wednesday so far. It sounds like you are.
The road when we're not in session. I'm out campaigning in the swing districts and with our candidates and our incumbents all across the country. The last 2 weeks, I've been from California to New York, Iowa, Nebraska, many points in between. And everywhere we go,
Yes, by the way, we have well over 200 people in here between both the live streams. Make sure you guys hit that like button, double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. I very much appreciate it. You don't have to like all this craziness that's going around the world, but you guys can like it for me and what we do here. So thank you.
People are seeing and understanding. They're articulated in their own way the stark contrast between the two sides. As we say all the time, this is not your father's Democratic Party. The chasm between the two sides and their visions.
We also got a Cash App from my man, we got Big Al Patterson coming in with the 5 spot saying puff, puff, pass on the Cash App, my man. Thank you very much for making it rain in the Cash App. Thank you very much. It all adds up
for
very
America
quickly.
And what we believe, our principles, our priorities, our platforms has never been more divergent than it is right now. As I've said here many times, and I say across the country, you know, a few decades ago, Republicans and Democrats in Congress are arguing over marginal tax rates and shades of regulation. Now we are quite literally in a contest to determine whether we're going to maintain our status as the world's great superpower, the greatest nation in the history of the world, as a constitutional republic, or we're going to tear that down to the foundation like the communist Democrats want to do and go down this dark road of Marxism. Not on our watch. We're not going to do that.
What's up, Brother Beezer? Good morning to you.
I am very confident. In
Drive
fact,
safe.
I'm very enthusiastic about the upcoming midterm election because I believe that people are beginning to see this, and it is going to motivate voter turnout for true Americans who love their country and want to keep it. We're in the process of making it better every single day, and you're going to see that on display this week on the floor. We said this is a contrast. We had been saying for months, you heard me say, a contrast between common sense and crazy in the midterm, and now it's common sense.
Well, don't worry, Steve. We're not playing too much longer of it. We got way too much to cover to get stuck on this.
Versus communism. This is real. So this week on the floor, let me talk to you about a few things that we're going to have. It's been mentioned by the leader. This week, House Republicans are going to take an important step to restore Americans' faith and trust in Congress and in American elections with the Stop Insider Trading Act. As Leader Scalise noted, this is something the American people have been very interested in for a long, long time. We have finally cobbled together what we believe is the vote coalition to make that happen. I want to commend the good work of the House Administration Committee and Chairman Brian Stile for their quarterbacking of this collaborative effort, and they've drafted a bill that I think is really, really well done. Too often, Americans struggling to make ends meet have watched as lawmakers have entered office to leave as multimillionaires. There's a handful of glaring examples. A couple of those people are still serving, notably on the Democrat side. The Stop Insider Trading Act does exactly what it says. It bans members of Congress from purchasing individual stocks from publicly traded companies, and it helps prevent public officials from profiting from inside information. It's a very logical thing to do. The bill also includes a very common sense and popular provision to ensure that voters...
There's, of course, going to be ways around that shit. Of course. Do you think these guys are going to stop investing in the market? Get out of town.
Must show a valid ID when they go to the polls to vote. Virtually all Republicans support that common sense measure, and over 70% of Democrats do, as acknowledged most recently by Chuck Schumer himself. And yet, watch, I bet you not a single Democrat in the House or Senate will support these measures. Democrats only talk about corruption. Republicans are actually delivering real solutions to actually restore the public's faith in our institutions because we believe in this country. We believe in our matchless Constitution that is the envy of everybody around the world. And we believe on the 250th anniversary now is a very important time to stand on that. Later today, House Republicans are going to move closer to responsibly funding the government as well. We're going to pass a totally clean, very simple continuing resolution that will fund the government through November. The CR is as clean as they come. There are no poison pills. There's no hidden maneuvers. There's nothing other than a simple extension of current funding levels. Now, this is going to be one to watch. Unfortunately, given that Democrats have already forced the 2 longest government shutdowns in American history in this Congress, one of them for 78 days, they've already demonstrated they don't care what kind of pain they inflict on the American people.
And we covered every day besides Saturday and Sunday on all of those when the shutdowns basically was going through. I mean, the government shutdown on both counts on the recent ones.
They do this to try to score political points. I think they're making the wrong calculation here. Republicans are under no illusions about Democrats' intentions.
5150, good morning.
Midterm election. Today's Democrat Party, I think they have a very false impression. They think that they can score political points by trying to inflict pain. It's not going to work. They've shown there's nothing they love more than a government shutdown, as tens of millions of Americans head to the polls in November. But this clean CR is an opportunity for both sides. So they have an opportunity to demonstrate they're committed to responsibly funding the government through November. And again, I bet you they don't help us on it. If the Democrats can't support this basic principle, then they are alone are going to own the chaos that ensues if the government shuts down after September 30th. On reconciliation this week, of course, we're going to move the ball forward on reconciliation 3.0. As we pass our budget resolution, that's what we'll do, send it to the Senate. As a reminder, this legislative vehicle is our best shot at accomplishing 2 key objectives of the people of this country. These are very popular and important and necessary objectives. Number 1, secure American elections by passing the Save America Act into law, as much of that as possible. That's the objective. Number 2, protect and strengthen our homeland. How do we do that? We'll be providing supplemental funding in line with the administration's request to support our national defense and our farmers. Why is this necessary? because Democrats have yet again refused to work with Republicans on basic election integrity and strengthening our nation's defense. As always, Republicans support our troops, our farmers, and election integrity, and we will demonstrate that again this week. Another big thing on the floor, as you know, is the NDAA, National Defense.
Yes.
Now, it was time, all you remember, not too long.
Yes, this needs to be shot down. The NDAA needs to be shot down.
Long ago, that funding for our national defense was a bipartisan exercise, because at the end of the day, everybody put the weapons down, metaphorical weapons, political weapons, and said, gee, you know, both parties have to acknowledge the necessity of maintaining our defense and supporting our troops. And surely that's the last thing we can agree upon, everybody would say. For 65 consecutive years, Congress has done exactly that, enacted the National Defense Authorization Act without fail. I am sad to tell you that is no longer the case, because the Communist Caucus, the Democrats now, have decided that they're not into that anymore. Republicans will once again be the only adults in the room as we vote to authorize this critically important funding.
Negative. Not when we're sharing intelligence with a whole different country. That we don't actually, do you guys know that we don't actually have in writing that we're in alliance with Israel? Do you guys know that? Do you guys actually know that we're not legally actually allies like that? Why are we sharing intelligence with any country? It doesn't matter if it was Israel, wouldn't matter if it was Ukraine, wouldn't matter if it was Russia, wouldn't matter if it was Canada. It doesn't matter. What the fuck are we doing sharing our intelligence with a whole different country?
As we have done under previous Democrat administrations for more than a century. Why? Because Republicans understand the priorities of the country, and even when we don't get our greatest preferences, we're still willing to do the right thing and support those who put on the uniform. But Democrats aren't there anymore. One final point, this week will prove beyond dispute Democrats' reflexive obstruction. That's what they do now. It's obstruction for the sake of obstruction. It is driven by Trump derangement syndrome and other maladies that they have. It's shocking to say, but today's Democrats would rather endanger our national security. They'd rather threaten the livelihoods of hardworking Americans. They'd rather punish their own constituents than work with Republicans to advance any meaningful policy under this administration. But here's the good news. Republicans refuse to allow the Democrats to railroad the legislative process with their relentless and childish obstruction tactics. No matter how hard they dig in their heels, we're going to work 10 times harder. We're going to deliver for the American people. We're going to make our country safer and more affordable for millions of working families.
All right, now the rest, I mean, it's just going to be the same loop there on that rhetoric. Okay, so sounds good. Let's go ahead and move on. Real quick, something that I posted, I wanted to show you guys since right before we went live, I actually posted my latest like quote unquote campaign. It's what I'm doing is I'm campaigning on not the party. I'm not campaigning on that kind of thing. I'm campaigning on policy and who Mike Ball is, right? So let me go ahead and bring this up real quick. This is my YouTube channel here. And I wrote this. Let me see if I can size this up so you guys can get a better look. Anyways, I said, the office may change, my place never will. A title should never create distance between a public servant and the people. It should create greater responsibility. You should never have to wonder where your representative stands. You'll find me where I've always believed public servants belong, among the people, listening first, serving always. And that's exactly the motto that I live by. It's like, how hard is it to be the actual voice of the people, what the people actually want, right? Not what I want, not what Mike Ball wants. Of course, am I going to use what I know to be able to make a very wise decision? Yes, of course. But it comes down to your people. What is the betterment for the people? And the betterment for the people is for these representatives to actually listen to the people and consider what they're talking about. Look at like when I get in, I'm going to actually, like, no joke, I'm going to actually set up on my website where people can publicly vote on their topics of what they care about in that moment. You know what I mean? So in real time, people can see this shit. I've got a whole bunch of great ideas for these kind of things. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this next story here. So we're going to talk about Trump for a second. This was yesterday. Trump says U.S. will hit Iran 10 times harder after meeting with Lebanese president. Yes, because Trump did a bilateral meeting with the Lebanese president or whatever yesterday. So here we go.
Thank you very much. It's a great pleasure to be with the president of Lebanon. He's highly respected in his country and actually long beyond his country. We've spoken previously on numerous occasions through representatives, and the relationship is very good. I think that Lebanon has been a very mistreated country for a long period of time. It's an amazing group of people, professors, doctors, lawyers, great intellects, and it's been hit hard for many, many decades, really. It's been hit very, very hard. And yet I have people that live in Lebanon, people that are parents of friends of mine, many cases, and they would never leave. They would not leave under any circumstance. They love it. They love the country. And it's probably a dangerous place in a lot of ways, but they live in areas, they say, we hear bombs going off all the time, but we want to live in Lebanon. They love the country. Very smart people, very successful people, and they live there. But it's been a country of great intellect, great intellectuals. They still love it. They want to be there. And we're going to help it. We're going to help it a lot. So it's an honor to have the president and your representatives here. We've already met a couple of times, and we've had some good meetings. And we are going to solve a lot of problems. We've already solved some of them for Lebanon. As you know, there's a Hezbollah problem, but we've done some things.
Oh, shit. Stephanie coming in, by the way, with the 15-month membership, by the way. Very much appreciate you saying good morning, beautiful people. Good morning to you. Great to see you. Thank you for the 15 months. That's epic. That's what allows us, you guys being members, is what allows us to do this Monday through Friday. And then, of course, members only on Saturday morning. And, of course, that's me giving back, not necessarily looking for anything after that, because you members support this. So thank you for that.
Things that I think the world will take notice. Again, it's been a very badly treated place and country, and we're going to have it properly treated and treated with respect that it deserves. And Mr. President, it's an honor having you. Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
I've been looking forward to this visit for a long time.
Thank you.
I'm just glad that he speaks English.
Meeting such a great president like
Dealing with the translations and all that kind of shit, as you guys know, that watch Insane Wheels. There's many times that it gets so confusing with all of the talk back and forth.
yourself.
That's a very nice thing. See, he knows how to get to me. He can have anything. Now he can have anything. Would you like to say something?
No, really, I would like to thank President Trump. Really.
Yes, by the way, before he says what he's going to say, we've got 277 people in here between both the live streams. Let's get the likes up, everybody. I know this is all crazy. That's stuff in the news and all that shit. You don't have to like it for that, but you guys can like it for me and what we're doing here on Insane Wheels. So thank you for that.
And his team for the historic visit and for the historic achievement that we did together by signing the framework with the ultimate objective of ending the state of hostility between Lebanon and Israel forever. I think, Mr. President, this will be your legacy. Together, we'll be able to achieve this objective. It's about time for Lebanon and for the whole region to be stable and secure. And I know your vision is peace, your vision is stability, and I think my vision coincides with your vision. And together, I think we will be able to achieve and to score success in that regard.
I agree with that. I do agree with that. And you have tremendous spirit on your side. You have people that love that country, and they're going to make it work.
We got to make it work.
Right. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, I have two questions.
And we'll take a couple of questions just because their front monologue right there in the top was only 3 minutes long. So we'll take a couple of questions and then we'll move on.
Questions. One for you. President Trump, as you work to expand the Abraham Accords, Lebanon still enforces a 1955 law criminalizing contact with Israel for over 70 years. You previously stated
What's up, GEG? Good morning.
you would push Lebanon on this issue. And there is some people still going to prison last month. So did you raise it you will raise it to President Trump today?
Well, the Abraham Accords have been, I think, a tremendous success. I think you're going to see a lot of countries joining pretty soon. As you know, we have our original group, and it's so successful for them. Economically successful. It's been that.
Brother So Loud with the 10 spot coming in with the super chat saying, we love the truth. Thank you, brother. Absolutely. Very much appreciate you. Thank you for the 10 spot. Goes a long way in the chat, my man. Thank you for dropping it like it's hot.
Nobody left, even during this time of conflict. So, no, I think Lebanon has a very important place.
What is your level of concern of a blockade of the Red Sea by the Houthi rebels, opening up another front in the
We'll
war?
see what happens. So far, it hasn't happened, might happen. But we take care of things. If something like that happens, we take care of it. You know, we've done that with the Houthis before, and we haven't heard from them in a while since we did what we did originally. That was about 45 days of very powerful action we took against the Houthis. And we've had no problem with the Houthis. They've had no problem with us for a long period of time, including during this conflict. I think that if there is something like that, we'll just have to take care of business.
To speak of the Lebanese parliament rejected the agreement between Lebanon and Israel and said it's a sedition. It's going to cause civil war. He's the speaker of the Lebanese parliament and he speaks for Hezbollah. He's Hezbollah's big brother. What do you have to say about that?
Well, maybe I'll let you speak to that.
Actually, the framework doesn't require the endorsement of the parliament. Okay, it's part of our constitution. It's a prerogative of the president, and we are committed to it. And I think the speaker of the parliament is really wants to see the end of this war. He's from the south, and he knows he did his best to rebuild the south, but unfortunately, the south being destroyed in front of his eyes. So he's actually supportive of what we are doing, but we need to be careful. His position as a speaker and as a leader of the Shia community, we have to understand how critical is his position. But I can tell you that Speaker Berri is a man of state. He's supportive of what we are doing, and he's supportive of ending the state of hostility, ending the war once for all.
I think when he sees, because I've heard that he's a good person, good man, and when he sees the progress made, I'm sure he's going to come on.
We'll take one or two more, but I really want to get him saying, you know, in the regards of if Iran, because it says right here, Trump says U.S. will hit Iran 10 times harder after meeting with Lebanese president. So that's if Iran strikes any of the regions or whatever the case is. But I'm not going to listen to 30 minutes of this to just get that little bit.
TV from Lebanon. I have two questions, please. When will the Israeli army fully withdraw from Lebanon? Is there a clear timeline for that? And last question, please. Last week you met with the Iraqi Prime Minister and discussed him or described him as handsome and saying he could become one of the best leaders in the Middle East.
What's up, VPS? Happy Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Great to see you in the chat, my man. Good morning.
Which one are we talking about?
The Iraqi Prime Minister. Yes. How do you describe President?
So I'd say he's handsome also, and I think he could become one of the most important leaders in the Middle East, actually, if we do this, because they've been trying to do this for decades, right? Decades and decades. So if I made that statement about somebody else, I would put him in the same category.
When the Israeli army withdraw from Lebanon, is there a clear timeline?
They're in the process of doing that. They're in the process of redeploying to other sections. And again, they get along very well. That was a great agreement they signed with Lebanon, and they're redeploying.
Mr. President, the Lebanese army needs help, and the United States said that it's very important for the Lebanese army to take over the villages that Hezbollah withdrew from. How are you going to help them, and how the CENTCOM is going to be
speaking about that today.
Ensure that they will be in the
We'll
south.
be speaking about that today with the president, and we have some very concrete plans already in store for that, with others going in and helping. But they're also becoming much more self-sufficient, and we will be speaking about that. That's one of the subjects we're going to be talking about.
Mr. President, my question is, sorry, the Lebanese army said today that Israeli forces opened fire in proximity to the Lebanese trying to deploy in one of these pilots.
Okay, I really don't care about all that shit regarding Israel. I really care about what's going on with Iran, you know, but of course, we're going to have to listen to 30 minutes of him trying to, I mean, just to get that one question. No, we're not doing it. We got to move on. All right, we got too much to go through this morning for us to get hung up on that. Okay, Hegseth interrupted by an anti-Iran war protesters. Now, these kind of things are kind of just normal. You know, at this point, I mean, it's just totally normal for these kind of things to happen. But I didn't even see it yet, so let's go ahead and
testify on President Trump's supplemental funding request for the Department of War. As you know, we live in a dangerous world that requires bold and swift action. Hence, this supplemental request for fiscal year 2026. This request is an urgent, necessary injection of resources to address the immediate needs of our department. The supplemental funding request is not a substitute.
There it is.
90 million people. Your hands are bloody of 17 Americans and 4,000.
The witness will suspend until order is restored in the committee room. I
wonder if it's just going to be one. Usually when they kind of do these things, it's multiples. But I saw on the Iranian state TV, their media was them putting out last night the picture of that chick holding up that sign. And I was wondering what the fuck they posted that for, but
that individuals feel very passionately, but we must have order in the hearing room so that we can proceed. We're now going to move forward with our hearing, and Secretary Hegseth, please proceed.
Thank you. The supplemental funding request is not a substitute for the president's full $1.5 trillion base budget request. $1.5 trillion.
There's another one. Knew it.
Mr. Secretary, please.
There's probably 3 of them in there. Either 3 or 4.
Suspend until order is restored in the hearing room. We will begin the timing clock since you've been interrupted twice.
Yeah, but this is like, dude, just let it roll. Like, don't act like it didn't even happen. Get right back into it. Don't even comment. Just
please
continue
proceed. 1.5 trillion is what the president seeks and what we need to defend the country. The members of this committee understand better than most that long-term strategic dominance cannot be funded through one-off supplementals.
Here comes another one. I hate the dude, and no joke. Yes, I agree with this because they're all paid. They're all paid protesters, you know. And you know what's interesting is these paid protesting political theater, if you will. It's been happening forever.
We will have order in the hearing
It's fucking
room.
annoying. What's up, Pablo? Good morning.
Mr.
I was number 3.
Secretary, please proceed.
Collectively, the budget proposals submitted under President Trump follow a simple logic.
Here it goes again.
I would ask that the Capitol Police, whose professionalism I admire, and remove those who are seeking to disrupt the hearing. Please proceed.
President Trump's following a simple logic. The military requires a generational investment to deliver on peace through strength. We know the best way to create peace is to prepare for war, to deter it. And that's exactly what the Department of War is doing, building a force so capable that it would be absurd for anyone to challenge it. As the direct result of neglected priorities and gross negligence that ignored threats left over from the previous administration, President Trump inherited a set of global and domestic crises, deferred maintenance almost across the board. Instead of steering the ship through gathering storms, former leaders let our military languish through social experiments and globalist appeasement. Sheer weakness. Under President Trump, we have built a different type of department. The Pentagon is no longer run by bureaucrats. Instead, it's led by combat-tested veterans and world-class business leaders who are running the department like a business, and tech titans who are bringing lethal innovation to the battlefield. We're also at a different moment, and we cannot afford inaction. If we don't make critical investments right now in tech, in compute, in AI, in autonomy, in space, our adversaries who are already making these types of investments could outpace us. Without these funds, we face critical shortfalls that threaten our ability.
Well, without me getting deleted from the platform here, I'll just say that we got involved because of a different country, different country's ambitions. And then, of course, what also happened there is Trump has had a boner for Iran since the 80s. Okay, he's been, if you look historically at what Trump has talked about Iran and his rhetoric for since the 80s, he's had a fucking hard on for them the entire time. And I think he knew that in his second term that he was going to do this.
To also simply pay our service members, rapidly replenish equipment and munitions, and sustain vital operations without disruption. This supplemental request serves 2 purposes: sustain our military readiness to meet this year's new demands, and accelerate critical capabilities to replace and augment those we have used in contingencies. But make no mistake, this is not a one-for-one replacement. We are upgrading and we are modernizing across the force. On the readiness front, we requested $21 billion. This will fund military pay, replace much of the equipment utilized during recent operations, sustain forward deployed forces, and grow personnel and strength while stabilizing mission-critical fuel shortfalls and supporting the National Guard. On the capability side, we requested $46 billion. These funds will expand production lines and accelerate delivery of high-demand munitions. We're talking about solid rocket motors, JDAMs, hypersonics, and counter-drone.
No, I did not see that, by the way. And I wonder if this was it for the protesters. It looks like it probably was. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on. That was about 5. And I think that was during his opening statement there. All right. So Trump lifts 40-year ban on direct U.S. flights to Lebanon after meeting with the president. So that's actually crazy news, by the way. That is humongous news. I know there's a lot of things going on in the Middle East and stuff like that in regards to the United States as well, but and it can be a little interesting, the allegiances the alliances that happen during wartime and what happens like that. So here we go.
I'm Andy Mack, a leader from the Middle East inside the Oval Office today as President Trump pledged to help.
And then after this, we'll be talking about the last night's strikes in Iran.
Lebanon a lot during that Oval Office meeting with the Lebanese leader. The U.S. has championed peace in Lebanon, but has also been increasingly distracted by a new round of escalation, reigniting a war in Iran. These are the moments that President Trump greeted this leader before the bilateral meeting in the Oval Office. Vice President J.D. Vance, others, Pete Hegseth, in attendance of this one. President Trump also made a surprise announcement after that he'd allow American carriers to resume direct flights to Lebanon for the first time in 40+ years after the U.S. suspended those routes. Let's be joined right now here on Live Now from Fox by the Associated Press, Will Weiser. Will, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get into that flight that was resumed, but let's talk first about the meeting in general. And we see these quite often. How cordial was it between President Trump and the Lebanese leader?
I think it was very cordial. They met for about an hour.
And I'm only going to get this front monologue here, and then we're moving on.
And the president of Lebanon basically made a point of saying that Trump was a great president and that his legacy would be promoting peace and sort of stability throughout the region, throughout the Middle East, and throughout the world. And Trump, immediately sort of made a joke and said, "Oh, he gets me. He gets sort of what I'm about, and now he can sort of have whatever he wants." So that was a sort of a light-hearted moment. But they met for about an hour total. The president said, that the U.S. would help Lebanon and would help Lebanon sort of, obtain peace and sort of the respect that it deserved after years of conflict, but there's still some very tough issues to be resolved. The discussions, the talks that are going on in Washington that the U.S. is actually helping to mediate are implementing a peace plan that would see Israel draw down and begin to sort of pull out of parts of Lebanon, especially southern Lebanon, in their conflict with Hezbollah. But we're still in early days. We've already had reports today that both sides.
What's up, Dragon Classy? Good morning.
Sort of shot at each other. There are no sort of casualties, but it's very sort of tenuous what's going on. And while President Trump was quite complimentary on a lot of what he said, there wasn't a lot of detail there. And the devil's always sort of the details as we go forward.
Okay, that's really all we needed to really hear. But the only reason why I even let him speak is because he is, a reporter over there for the Associated Press. So, all right, that's enough of that, though. Quickly, let's get into these strikes. We're not going to. This is like obviously what we're talking about as the main subject. We always cover all these kind of breaking news stories, obviously. So this is what I put on our thumbnail. 11 nights here, and of course, let's go ahead and get pretty much right into it. You know what we haven't done though? We haven't done the money part, so let's just do that.
All right, just get the money part done.
Give me money, me, money now, me a money needing a lot now.
Now those are actual factuals.
Denied.
But I still love you guys. All right, let's go ahead and bring this up and see if they are presenting on here. Any of the actual locations. If not, we actually have the map of and the video of the areas that were struck. So we'll see if this has it.
You're watching Live Now. I'm Austin Westfall. Let's track the latest in the Middle East. We are hearing an update from U.S. Central Command saying we have yet another consecutive night of strikes in the Middle East. They just posted this. Let's read it. On July 21st at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time, CENTCOM successfully completed the 11th consecutive evening of strikes against Iran. CENTCOM assets targeted Iranian military operations centers, maritime capabilities, aircraft hangars, drone storage facilities, and military logistics infrastructure to further degrade Iran's ability to threaten commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. It continues. Over the past 3 months, Iran has attacked more than 30 commercial vessels transiting the international waterway that's vital for regional and global trade. The unwarranted attacks have endangered hundreds of innocent mariners and undermined freedom of navigation. Despite Iranian aggression, the Strait of Hormuz remains open for commercial vessel transit. Since early May, CENTCOM forces have helped facilitate the transit of approximately 900 commercial vessels and 450 million barrels of crude oil. Meantime, Fox's Jennifer Griffin saying that the U.S. is announcing that they believe to be what they believe to be the death of an active duty soldier who was supporting overseas operations in Jordan. They say Sergeant Angel S. Rampersad, 28 years old, of Ozone Park, New York, is believed to have been killed in action during an enemy attack at the airbase in Jordan. The incident is under investigation. CENTCOM previously announced this soldier as missing. The soldier's status was updated to a duty status, whereabouts unknown, and is believed to be deceased, according to Jennifer. So those are some of the latest updates coming out of the region. A live depiction of the Strait of Hormuz, courtesy of Marine Traffic. Let's bring in retired Marine intelligence.
Now, they're going to bring in Hal here, which is great. And I am going to hear his front monologue. We're not going to go through the rest of this because until we get into, they're showing the strait over here in Yemen. So I definitely want Hal's perspective on that. And then we actually have the strikes for you guys. So, or the actual information of where and what was located, what was hit, all of those
This
things.
officer, national security analyst, and host of the Strat podcast, Hal Kempfer, as always, he's here with me. Hal, let's just get in immediately to the strikes taking place. U.S. CENTCOM just confirming moments ago that there was another consecutive night, 11th night.
What's up, No?
From what you're hearing, are the strikes still ongoing?
As far as I can tell, they are. I haven't heard that they've actually completed all of them. Of course, the thing I'm going to be watching for closely is to see if there's any strikes that are not attributed to U.S. aircraft. That would indicate to me that maybe one or more of the Gulf states have finally decided to do some strike missions. That was something that came up earlier as a possibility because there were some unattributed strikes that took place in Iran. So I'm kind of wondering about that, particularly as Iran's kind of opened or broadened out the attack portfolio they've been doing by hitting desalination plants and power plants in Kuwait and hitting a variety of other targets in the Gulf states.
So, Hal, you and I were talking offline about some reporting coming from the Jerusalem Post. There's so much going on in this conflict in the past 24 hours ago. I want to talk to you a little bit about some internal politics and otherwise going on in Iran. We need to talk about the Houthis today. We need to talk about the Saudis today. We're going to get to all of that in a moment.
Yes, there is a lot of moving pieces right now.
I want to start off with Mojtaba Khomeini, though. He is the supreme leader. He's the new supreme leader of Iran. We've talked about him quite a bit on air. He's in the news again. The Jerusalem
Now, those are pictures from 2019, mind you. These are not recent pictures of this guy.
Post saying that Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, admits to having never met with Mojtaba while Iran was negotiating the now defunct Memorandum of Understanding with the U.S. Folks at home might notice that we really don't have a whole lot of visuals of Mojtaba. He has a couple of photos here, and some people might be wondering, why don't we have more? That's because we have not seen him since the war began. I need to ask you about this reporting from the Post, Hal. What do we know about the new Supreme Leader's presence since the war began?
His presence is basically non-existent. He will write notes, pass notes over to his handwritten notes, literally, and his team will go out there and put it out to the media. That's pretty much that. So that's enough of that. I've already answered that for you guys. Let's go ahead and get into a little bit of the war.
Kind of goes out and to say that he may, nobody's seen him.
No, okay, obviously we know that. Now I want to get to Hal's perspective on the strait over there by Yemen. This is a very, very strategic oil shipping route, not only for oil, but all cargo going through to Europe, believe it or not. And so I'll show you guys the actual shipping lane and all of that here in a second. But I do want to hear what Hal's perspective is on this particular thing right here, because right now the Houthi rebels just announced that there's going to be a blockade, which is already, I guess, being implemented against Saudi Arabia, using that because of the recent things going on with Saudi and the war.
Snarl not only global shipping in one major artery of global shipping, but now we're talking about two different ones here. So we have this map to kind of give people a loose idea of what this piece of geography looks like. We've all become so familiar with what the Strait of Hormuz looks like. This is yet another strait that we should familiarize ourselves with. A declared blockade of Saudi Arabia by Yemen's Houthi rebels has the potential to widen this war. It could further disrupt global oil supplies. It could further disrupt international trade. The AP says that the Houthis say they have closed the Bab el-Mandeb Strait to Saudi-linked shipping. This is in retaliation for the kingdom's blockade on Yemen, and it's for a recent attack on the international airport in Yemen's capital, Sana'a. Hal, all of this considered.
Yep, absolutely. One of the main airports, the tarmac got bombed, basically got struck by Saudi. And that happened. We reported on that last week.
How does the U.S. fit into the Saudi Houthi situation?
Well, generally speaking, we support the Saudis, and obviously we support keeping the Bab el-Mandeb Strait open. There have been at times multinational coalition maritime task forces, combined task forces that go in there and work on keeping this open. There's been a lot of action there up until a year ago we were heavily involved with air attacks all around the Houthi areas in Yemen, hitting missile sites, drone sites, all sorts of different things. So this has been a very contested area. Now, it's interesting. They say they're doing.
Man, we're going to be going into some serious OT today. So let's get the likes up, everybody. That's all I ask you guys to do. Is let's get the likes up, man. Double tap that screen if you're on the vertical side. Appreciate
a
that.
naval blockade. They actually picked that language specifically to mirror what we're doing to Iran, which is a naval blockade. The difference is our naval blockade, we have ships. They don't have any ships. What they do have is they have drones and missiles. Now,
right.
Reportedly, that was enough that they had some Saudi tankers turn around today and head the other direction.
Yes, because enforcing a blockade is actually pretty fucking simple on a bottleneck such as these straits that we're talking about, the Strait of Hormuz, and then the Bab el-Mandeb Strait that's over there by Yemen. It's bottlenecks. So, of course, all you have to do to sway these ships and from not going through is you threaten to use drones on these ships as well as missiles. And yeah, you watch how the insurance companies drop all their shit and say, do not go through that strait. You'll see the ship owners calling the captain saying, do not go through there. I mean, it's very simple.
Because they were warned not to go that direction. This could potentially close down traffic there. That's a huge transit area. It's not what it was, prior to the first time, but that they closed it, which was, after that was due to what Israel was doing in Gaza. But it is the first time in a year we've seen this. It's been kind of open for over a year, and now they're doing this again. And of course, their methodology is so poor. When they say going after Saudi shipping, they could hit any shipping out there because they just don't target very well. So that's
they're also trying to make an example. They're going to in that kind of aspect of context of what he's talking about. It wouldn't matter if it was a Saudi ship or not actually to the Houthi rebels, because to them they only care about making an example out of something and showing the enforcement, right? So anyways, that's enough of how we always appreciate his insights, but I do want to bring this up. So first, I'm going to show you guys just a brief. We're not going to read the whole thing or anything, but just briefly, I went through, again, anytime I do this on AI, I always show you guys my sources and all that shit. This is just talking about the 11th consecutive nights of strikes. And then, of course, we have the actual strike locations that I'm going to show you guys here in a minute. But 11th consecutive nights of U.S. strikes. CENTCOM confirmed the 11th night of strikes and concluded Tuesday evening. Unlike some previous nights, the Pentagon identified several categories of targets: aircraft hangars, drone storage facilities, drone operation centers, maritime military installations, and military logistics nodes. CENTCOM said the purpose was to continue degrading Iran's ability to threaten commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, which has continued to be the same kind of rhetoric. That's coming from Reuters, by the way, that whole section right there. Now, why these strikes matter. This is the key takeaway for your audience. The target list shows the U.S. campaign has shifted beyond simple hitting missile launchers. Instead, the U.S. is now systematically dismantling the military infrastructure that allows Iran to sustain operations, destroying where drones are stored, which has been something that we have been targeting over the course of these 11 days, of course. Destroying where drones are launched as well. That's pretty self-explanatory. Destroying support and logistics, as well as reducing Iran's ability to disrupt oil shipping and reducing Iran's ability to regenerate combat power. Now, I actually asked it. I'm like, well, didn't Iran ask for a ceasefire within the last 24 hours? Because why that's important is because what I was hearing is that there was they're kind of asking for a ceasefire here at the moment because we just hit Tehran and northern Iran quite hard, and central Iran as well. Not just in the southern region, because that's where we've been focusing on the majority of these 11 days. Now we're starting to move our way into Tehran, which is a big fucking deal. And apparently after the mediators asking for some sort of ceasefire, Trump said, fuck no, basically, and continued on the 11th day. So let's see. Since then, the United States did not suspend operations. CENTCOM conducted the 10th night, blah, blah, blah. Of course, we know that. U.S. perspective, officials appear to be applying pressures while diplomacy continues. The apparent strategy is keep degrading Iran's military capability, increase pressure on Tehran, negotiate only from a stronger position. And that's exactly what is obvious. It's the same loop, and that's coming from Reuters as well, by the way. And it says that does not necessarily mean the U.S., quote unquote, rejected a ceasefire offer outright. Rather, the report indicates mediators proposed a pause, but Washington continued military operations while judging that Iran had not yet demonstrated seriousness at the negotiation table. So that's important. I just wanted to get that out of the way. And now I have some locations for you guys. Let's go and bring this up from man Tusi TV, another great, phenomenal reporter, especially in the regards of this war. That's really where I found him from. But he does cover a lot of the Middle East in general.
Of its access to the neighboring countries, at the top of the Persian Gulf.
I want to see this part.
Let me just show you again. Basically, Bushehr is down here. This one. Not too far from the Kharg Island, which is right up here.
So first, it's right up here where that purple dot is, where Kharg Island is. But he kind of drew the wrong little area. But anyways, any of these red circles is where you're going to see where our strikes have been conducted. And Bandar Abbas and the southern region of Iran has been a humongous target. Sirik has been a super big target that's been hit almost every single night. Anyways,
technically to the north of it, basically, and this has now become a new target for the U.S. Military. We'll go to that in a second, but we have a statement from CENTCOM.
And yes, we're officially in overtime, by the way. So you know what they say about overtime: no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Send in your freaking money. Feels ultra good.
Saying CENTCOM forces began striking military targets.
Okay, we reported on actually this. We broke that news last night. But now I want to get more into the strikes of the northern region here. So here he goes.
To the northern parts of the capital, Tehran, also near Narmak. We are now getting massive explosions over here. If we go down to the city itself, over here, northwestern parts, we are getting explosions, as well as, of course, the eastern parts. And well,
that's the west.
This is the area where people were hearing a lot of air defense and also fighter jet activity. But I believe that the target is just outside of the actual capital, obviously. But we'll get to that in a second. They are saying that the Islamic Republic state media have just reported that there has been an explosion in a residential building.
Yeah, that's standard. That's been a lot of rhetoric. Let's go ahead and see a little bit of video.
Yep.
On the ground. Explosion out there. Okay, let's go more into the strike zone.
Around Shiraz.
Shiraz
it's still escalating. It has been a few hours.
Now he's showing like all the way down, the southern region, and Bandar Abbas is of course one of the main targets. And then in the southern region, we have struck this region almost every single night as well. Like way down by the border here at the bottom, we have struck that over and over and over again.
But let me just quickly show you the situation there, and then I think there is a bit of a statement coming out in a minute. Sound keeps going up. I don't know.
That's them doing it.
That's insane. Yeah, they're Pickaxe Mountains. Now, I think...
Okay, let's get back into the map here.
Where am I? Most western parts, especially where the Mehrabad International Airport is based. Most of the attacks we had was... Let me just quickly go down here. Where am I? I'm trying to find... There we go. So I'm roughly around here. So this bit was hit massively before, right?
Exactly. Yep. That's the airstrip.
This is the western parts of Tehran. But now we are getting huge explosion, huge air defense activity around the eastern parts of the capital.
There you go.
Waiting for confirmation of actual impact or explosions. But all we are seeing and hearing from the eastern parts of the capital is the air defense activity. So maybe drones, maybe a drill. I don't know why they would do a drill at this point, but because they are on high alert. So could be drones launched from inside the Iranian territory. Meanwhile, earlier tonight, with the IRGC didn't just sit back; they were also going completely crazy on Kuwait. As you guys know, the Islamic regime are threatening.
Yes, there is a massive threat that there may be a ground invasion from the IRGC in Kuwait.
Threatening to invade Kuwait.
Right.
As I said before, the last guy that tried to invade Kuwait ended up a little bit hanged 10 years later, Saddam. So it's probably best not to do that. Same with trying to invade and occupy Russia. Doesn't really go well if you plan to do that either. But they have been hitting the positions in Kuwait.
What's up, Marilyn? Good morning to you. Happy Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Great to see you in the chat, by the way.
This is from a few hours ago.
Drone.
That's a drone. So that clip was one of the Shahed drones of the IRGC, the same drones that they give to the Russians against Ukraine, but
correct, because they work hand in hand with those. Anyways, let's get back into the strikes here. Give me a second. Let's back this up to right there.
And new explosions in places that haven't been really hit properly until now. The Americans are basically expanding.
So that the blue circles that you guys see in the western or the eastern part of Tehran there, that's air defense activity, by the way.
Their targets hugely. First, so I'm just going to zoom out. So look at the northern parts, just below the capital. We got Kashan over here and Zanjan over here. So I'll just put it on a marker. So this bit and this section have just been hit over the last few minutes. And
yes,
you know,
sir.
zoom back out.
We all love 2CT.
Roughly see what's been happening. Again, there are more explosions. Apparently, Sirik has been hit, which is next to Bandar Abbas in the Strait of Hormuz. Just getting that verified. There has been a report not verified from Kermanshah near the border with Iraq. Waiting for that as well. But let's quickly take you back to Tehran. I think another video of the air defense. Yeah.
By the way, VPS, I don't know if you know this, but Kuwait, their actual currency is, I think, the most wealthiest currency that they. So, for instance, like $1 US, I think, is like almost 3 Kuwait, or and one. No, I'm sorry. $1 Kuwait dollar is like $3 US in conversion. So yeah, they have like the best conversion rate in the world.
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't really see too much on that clip, but I'm sure it's going to continue. But hold on, let me get back into strikes again.
Between Tehran and Karaj, based in the west of the capital, southwest. But I think we're getting an update from the eastern part, northeast of Tehran. This is a very interesting location. So if I show you, so this is the capital, you can see with all the dots on top of it, right? Roughly speaking, from anywhere from around here to here, this, and you get to the northern parts of it, it's basically mountainous. You got huge mountains. But this area is the location and the safe houses of a lot of the senior figures of the regime. Ali Khamenei, the former supreme leader, during the 12-day war, for a while, he was actually in a bunker in the northeastern parts of Tehran, and the IDF did hit it a couple of times. They didn't manage to eliminate him. Northeast of Tehran is where all the rich senior figures of the regime basically have their houses, but also linked to underground bunkers. They're not just staying in the living room or a bedroom. Let's quickly go to the video we have from there, I believe. Let's just double check.
You can hear the strikes in the background.
So exactly, yeah, we don't know what's going on. There hasn't been any hits. I can't confirm any impact, any strike military base.
I'm here though.
Yes. Okay. So just to give you the location of that fire, we have to go to the southern parts of Iran in Khuzestan. Ironically, actually near where the arrow is roughly located, it's down here, Behbahan. So this is where well, we can probably just at this point call it a massive fire. Nope. There we go. There we go. So that's the massive fire following the strikes by the U.S. military. I'm going to quickly take you back to Tehran in a second, but yeah. Let me just double check. This may have been one of the clips we haven't seen, or have we seen? Let's watch this. Oh yeah, we haven't seen this. You can see the dots, the white lights. That's the air defense. Not sure what they're...
That's actually when they actually make contact and explode in the air.
Hitting, but...
Okay, let's go back to the strikes. Give me a second. Let's find an update here.
Okay,
lot going
my
on.
brain doesn't work right now, but let's just stick to this. Let's go to the west. Elam is literally to the west next to...
So these are all the strikes that we did last night.
Iraq, and I should probably just go to the city. There we go, there. And also the west of Kurdistan, Barne has been hit a couple of times as well. So the western parts, the border cities and towns are getting hit massively again. The last few nights, couple of nights, we've had the U.S. military targeting the borders, which is interesting. But President Trump has also been shifting the tone and the narrative again over the last day or two, not just in terms of rejecting the ceasefire offer that came from the Islamic Republic through Pakistan and Qatar, but also he started to talk about the political prisoners in Iran and those who have been massacred by the regime. Earlier on in the Oval Office, he was talking about the protesters. Let's quickly go to that, and we have some more updates about those who are being executed.
Extinguished, but I believe that by doing what we did, by terminating Iran, who's very evil people leading that country. You saw the number of protesters that they killed, 52,000 plus. I put a couple of them up today, young kids, they kill them. They kill them like they're candy. It's crazy what they do. They treat them so badly. They're just killing people just at random. Over 52,000 people, and nobody talks about it. But if I didn't do the attack on their nuclear sites, or if I didn't terminate the Obama agreement with Iran, which was an absolute hit.
The JCPOA he's talking about.
On having them that was a road to a nuclear weapon. And our deal will be a wall. It already is. They can't have a nuclear weapon right now. We'll take them.
Yeah. Now, thank you, Misty. And
hold on. Let's go ahead here and actually get into more of the strike zones.
Which is getting worse and worse, by the way. This is the most insane story. So Shiraz is this city in the south of Iran. I'll just put on there. This one, where the Shiraz wine came from. 2 Iranian citizens in this city have now been sentenced to death. Why?
And it's kind of crazy, but it has to do with, I believe, medical aid for the ones that were protesting. They weren't even protesting themselves. They were giving aid to, injured people that were in the protest, and they're being sentenced to death.
Do you think that they rioted? Do you think that they committed treason? Do you think they did some sort of armed attack on the police? Nope. Did they protest? No, they didn't even do that. What is their crime that they're going to be executed in the next couple of days? All they did, they were medical professionals. They provided medical treatment to the protesters who were injured during the uprising.
Damn.
When the regime decided to target innocent civilians who simply asked for freedom and democracy, they decided to provide medical healthcare, medical treatment, and now they're about to be executed. One of them is called Mojtaba Dehbandi, and the other one is Kianush Kazaruni. All they did was do their job. If somebody is injured, if you're a doctor, if you're a nurse,
yeah, it should be a humanitarian level thing, But all right, let's go ahead and see CENTCOM strikes because they released some of these last night. Here we go.
Have been hitting across Iran. Let's go into this video. There we go. Just going to get some more updates. Okay.
That was only one of them, or 2 of them. Hold on. Let me go ahead and skip ahead here.
Right now. So it's been a rough day.
Let me see if he has any other breaking while this is all happening. No, and it looks like he does pull out here. Let's see.
Make it easy. There we go. It was a bit of a mess. Essentially, this part, I mean, again, this is not going to be completely accurate. I'm just drawing it on the map right now. This bit could be basically Kurdistan. But what you're actually getting is that the Kurds from here, which is Iraq.
Oh, so he's answering somebody's super chat, I believe, on that. Okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and move on. Secretary Rubio speaks, shows right here, speaks to reporters at ASEAN Summit. Now, I'm not sure what ASEAN Summit really actually is, but we're going to go ahead and bring it up anyways. Let's go ahead and figure out what it is together. There we go.
And I do want to chime in here as we do have a Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, now taking questions from reporters as he is in the ASEAN conference over in the Philippines.
ASEAN.
That's okay. It went quite long. Is that does that give the impression that the meeting was tense? And can you give us a sense of what
we got to translate. You know, translations always take longer and back and forth. Well, we talked a lot about the visit in September, and that was really the gist of it. It's just to create the groundwork for another positive visit. I think President Xi will have a very positive visit when he comes to Washington. Look, these are the two most powerful countries in the world, particularly economics, but also, I mean, we have to have a relationship, and obviously there are areas of great differences. Both sides will acknowledge that. We'll have to work through those, and I think these differences will exist for the foreseeable future. And our job is to sort of manage those so that they never get out of control. We're obviously always going to defend our national interest. And I expect they'll do the same as they define it. But I think there are some areas of potential cooperation. So the work we need to do between now and September is to identify what those areas are so that we can lay the groundwork for a very positive visit to Washington and in September. And so we talked a lot about that.
Was there disagreement on election interference?
We didn't discuss that topic.
Mr. Secretary, are China and Russia giving targeting information?
Oh, by the way, this came out around 4:30 a.m. my time, Central Standard Time here.
Iran, these last
so this is all brand new stuff this morning.
very devastating to U.S. troops.
Look, all I would say is that, anytime you're in a combat zone like that, there's danger associated with it. I mean, at the end, this actually proves the point that this is what Iran has been investing its money in for the last 20 years.
Russia giving targeting information?
I'm not going to discuss that other than to say that nothing that's happened, nothing that China has done has in any way changed the trajectory of of what you're seeing in terms of the conflicts we're having with Iran. And in fact, in some cases, they've actually been quite cooperative with regards to what they potentially could have done but didn't do. I think the Chinese, and I'll let them tell you, but I don't think they're big fans of what Iran is trying to do in the Straits. In fact, they've said so publicly that they oppose tolling or any sort of restraint on freedom of navigation in the Straits. And, we hope they'll continue to say that. And it's important that other countries say that as well.
President Trump asked a similar question. I'd like to pose it to you. Is the U.S. strategy to strike Iran into submission? And why do you think Iran is not giving in right now?
Well, look, the United States is...
Here we go.
Iran's in a lot of trouble. I mean, at the end of the day, they obviously don't have a free press that reports on for example, you guys will report on the impact it's having on the U.S. economy and gas prices and this and that. They don't have that in Iran. But I can tell you they're facing hyperinflation, runaway inflation, high food costs. These are all pre-existing. They've all gotten worse. They've suffered a tremendous amount of damage to their military infrastructure, but they've also spent 20 years taking every penny they have and not spending it on their country. They spent it on sponsoring terrorist groups and building up their missiles and their drone systems. And this is what you're seeing them use now, which is greatly diminished, is exactly the conventional shield that they were going to hide behind to pursue a nuclear program and challenge the world to do anything about it or face the wrath of what they were doing. A year from now, Iran would have had so many missiles and drones that they would have been behind a conventional shield that would have given them immunity to do whatever they wanted. So right now, however, I can just say, here's what's happening. It's pretty straightforward. Ships are trying to go through the Straits and they're getting blown up. Commercial ships are going through the Straits and they're being blown up. The United States is defending that shipping and in addition is targeting the places that are launching against those ships to continue to degrade Iran's ability to target and harm global shipping. So that's what's happening here. And that's what we're focused on.
You mentioned this morning that Iran isn't keeping its commitment. So even if MOU is revived, what can be done to yield different results?
Well, look, all these things are compliance-based, right? I mean, if you make a deal, if you sign onto an agreement and then you violate the agreement's no longer valid. That doesn't mean you can't have a future agreement, but ultimately that future agreement will have to be judged on whether or not you're complying with the conditions. And that deal called for the opening of the Straits, free and fair navigation. In fact, they were supposed to put out a statement to that regard a week and a half ago. And instead, on the day they were supposed to put out that statement, instead of doing that, they targeted and blew up or hit a ship. So we remain open to diplomacy. We remain open to working it out in a negotiated way. But right now, they don't seem to be serious about that. And so we're going to continue to protect shipping. We think other countries should join us in that endeavor. We don't need them to, but they should because they're more impacted by it than we are. And at the same time, we are going to, when the opportunity presents itself, degrade their ability to target global shipping. What now?
And we'll take a couple more questions, and then we've got to get into what Trump is talking about as of just an hour and a half ago.
China's been sending its Coast Guard in toward Taiwan, doing patrols near Taiwan. I know the U.S. has said this has been destabilizing. Did you raise that with
It always comes up in every one of our meetings because we obviously disagree with those actions. And we actually think that they run contrary to the spirit of what we're trying to work out with them with regards to strategic stability. But the bigger point to make in that regard is that the U.S. will continue to we're never going to accept that international waterways are somehow under the control of other countries. We'll continue to sail through international waterways and freedom of navigation efforts of that kind, and we'll continue to live up to our commitments, for example, with the Philippines and other countries in terms of the treaty commitments that we have. Again, it speaks to areas of disagreement when it comes to our policies with China. Those need to be managed very carefully because obviously a conflict, be it economic or otherwise, between the U.S. and China would have a dramatic global impact. So the difficult job of geopolitics and foreign policy is managing your differences and not doing anything that runs contrary to our national interests, but at the same time trying to avoid conflict that could lead to something really catastrophic for the world. And I think we have an obligation to do that, which is why it's important for us to continue to talk to China, irrespective of our differences. It's important to, you go back to the height of the Cold War. Even in the height of the Cold War, even in its most tense moments, the United States and the Soviet Union were communicated, at least at a military-to-military level and even at a diplomatic level. And in many ways, that prevented catastrophe. So I'm not saying we're at that stage with China, but what I am saying is it would frankly be reckless and irresponsible for the U.S. and China not to have a relationship, given the impact and our countries have on the global economy and on the world.
Did you discuss with China, with Minister Wang the working group, or any more details of the Board of Trade, Board of Investment?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so that's enough of this. All right, let's go ahead and get into now. Trump vows to destroy bridges and power plants if Iran strikes. And then right after that, we have just an hour ago, President Trump speaks to reporters ahead of dignified transfer. He's going to be doing a dignified transfer of 4 U.S. service members who were killed in action during the ongoing conflict in Iran. So here we go. Let's go ahead and bring this up. Give me a second. Here we go. Whoops, that's actually the wrong tab. That's the second story that we're going to give you guys. Here it is.
All right, you're watching live now from Fox. We're getting in this breaking news here from President Trump as he's issuing another warning to Iran, as he says the U.S. will destroy 1 bridge or power plant each.
Real quick, we got Prez coming in with the high five with 100 gems. I very much appreciate that. Thank you for dropping like it's hot in the chat.
Time Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz. This comes after the U.S. carried out another wave of strikes on Iran, where air defenses opened fire over the capital, Tehran. Iran launched a missile attack on a Jordanian city on Israel's doorstep, and alerts were issued in Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. In his warning on social media, the president returned to earlier threats to target civilian infrastructure in retaliation for Iranian attacks. And we have that post coming in here now from Truth Social. As President Trump says, from this point forward, anytime the Islamic Republic of Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, whether it be by missile, rocket, drone, or any other device or weapon, the United States will bomb and destroy 1 bridge or power plant, including those located next to or in the capital city of Tehran. Thank you for your attention to this matter. A live look now at our simulation of the Strait of marine traffic. Now, the 11th night of American airstrikes in Iran came as diplomatic efforts have shown little signs of progress publicly. Officials on both sides have dug in on their disagreements over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has avoided striking Israel since hostilities resumed last month, apparently hoping to keep it from re-entering the war. But the missile and drone attack on Jordan's city of Aqaba raised concerns over a further widening of the conflict after an agreement to halt hostilities collapsed. So President Trump issuing that warning here, just coming in this morning. But we also have been sharing this with you, this breaking news from the Pentagon this morning, as the U.S. military has confirmed that a 3rd service member is believed to be dead in Friday's attack on a base in Jordan. That soldier has been
and that was regards to a drone, a downed drone in Iraq. And I guess this is her.
As Sergeant Angel Rampersad, who is only 28 years old. Now, the confirmation brings the death toll to 18 U.S. service members killed since the war began. On Monday, the Pentagon identified First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan and Private Isabella Gonzalez as the 2 other soldiers who were killed in Jordan in Friday's attacks. We're going to share their photos here with you on your screen in just a matter of moments here. Now, the soldiers were killed by Iranian ballistic.
Okay, so this is this young man over here on the right, Sergeant Michael Emmanuel Swinton from North Carolina, Fayetteville. We haven't seen his picture. So we saw her picture. Originally, we saw First Lieutenant Tyler James Feehan, yesterday, and now we're seeing finally him and what he looks
Missile
like.
and drone attacks and the first troop deaths from direct Iranian fire since the opening days of the war. They were deployed to support a U.S. mission against the Islamic State. Now, after the attack, U.S. Central Command announced that 2 service members were killed and another was missing. The following day, the military command said that troops found unidentified remains and that an examination process to verify the remains was underway. And now the Pentagon saying that Rampersad is believed to be that missing soldier, and her official status is now duty status, whereabouts unknown, and she is, quote, believed to be deceased.
Terrible. All right, so those are the service members that sadly fell. All right, let's go ahead and go into this next thing here, where President Trump speaks to reporters ahead of dignified transfer of those, a total of 4 U.S. service members that have fallen. So here we go. It's at Joint Base Andrews right here.
We're going to Dover. Some of you are going with us to honor our heroes, and they are indeed great heroes, actually.
Vietnam.
They said, and all of them said very strongly, we cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. They won't have a nuclear weapon. So we're going to honor them. And
no, she wasn't talking to you. She was talking to a guy named Adam in the chat.
one of the hardest things to do. For me, it's one of the hardest things to do as a president. But has to be done.
As we go to honor these soldiers, do you have an update on the investigation as to how they were killed in Jordan?
No, they're doing that. That'll be released. You know what?
It was Iran targeting barracks.
I don't know. Well, they're going to pay a big price. They're being decimated.
Is that report inaccurate?
Yeah, please.
Sir, what you say to families of fallen soldiers when Americans are wrongly against this war? How do you ask them?
Well, Americans aren't against the war. A poll just came out. Americans don't want high gasoline prices, but they're not against the war. That just came out loud and clear in a poll. Nobody wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Do you want Iran to have a nuclear weapon? You think it's good? Go ahead. All I'm going to say is we love you. We love your child, and that's what they are to them. They're their children. There's no games, no nothing. That's their child. And all you can do is throw out your heart. Thank you. Thank you very much.
That's it.
Some brief comments there from President Trump speaking to the media as he's now heading for Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. Once again, President Trump is attending the dignified transfer of 4 U.S. service members who were killed in the Middle East. And that's the latest we just heard from the president. But he also posted
this just came out an hour ago.
This to Truth Social a short time ago, as he is now threatening Iran's infrastructure once again. He says this: from this point forward, anytime the Islamic Republic of Iran shoots at a ship in the Strait of Hormuz, whether it be by missile, rocket, drone, or any other device or weapon, the United States will bomb and destroy one bridge or power plant, including those located next to or in the capital city of Tehran. We are going to step away for our final commercial break.
All right. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps us up as well for the morning. I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough for hitting that like button, engaging in the chat, donating, all those things. It allows us to continue doing what we do Monday through Friday. And then, of course, members only on Saturday. So thank you guys. All right. Listen, we'll be back actually tonight for the Diamond Effect. We're going to be discussing a lot of what is happening in Iran, and we're going to be discussing the domino effect of if this continues down this line, where we're going to end up. So anyways, we'll see you guys here tonight, and then for more of the World's Madness report-wise will be tomorrow morning. So anyways, much love, honor, respect to you guys. Be safe out there, and much love. We'll see you guys very soon.
From the depths of darkness,